With Will Overstreet and Will West. Chad Reuter posted a mock draft at NFL.com this week, the official NFL website, so you would assume that doesn't mean he has inside knowledge, but it's also not Joe Blow on Bleacher Report. Let's take a look at this draft because there are some surprises in here. Your first Vol pick, James Pearce, that's not a surprise. 60, pick 60. Now, there have been people who have pushed him out of the first round. Some others have moved him back inside the first round. This has him free-falling to the end of the second round, going to the Lions, James Pearce, the 60th pick. Then, all we've heard is defense, Omar, Norman-Lott, et cetera. The next two picks on offense, both to the 49ers in the third and fourth round. Dylan Sampson with the 100th pick, and then 13 picks later, Dante Thornton, who ran the great speed at the Combine, which always means so much. These teams that go nuts over the Combine. Fourth round at 124. Then you get Omar Norman-Lott. All right, Wills. What's more? I guess let's start with the James Pearce thing. 60th. I mean, look, he's a speed guy. I think he was overrated. I said he was overrated going into last season. I thought he was overrated during the season. I don't know that he does exactly what the coaches want him to do, which I think may be harming his draft stock. But 60th. If my team got him at 60, I'd be okay with that. That's a heck of a drop.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to drop that far. I mean, there has to be a lot of other things to go on for a guy with that much talent, with that much speed. There's going to be somebody that chooses him a little bit earlier than that. I think it's closer to, is he 30, 31, or 32 the back half of the first, or does he fall into the first 10 picks of the second?
Yeah.
But I'm not.
All the way to the end of the second.
All the way to
round.
the end of the second seems a little bit unreasonable.
Yeah, I'm with Will. Someone's going to take a chance on that. Also, it seems like his team's really out there trying to combat some of the cultural questions and character questions that have had there with James Pearce. But there are some. And for whatever reason, it seems like there are a lot of people who in town want to say, there are no character questions. They just didn't like to talk. No, there are. And like the NFL's going to find you out. And look, I agree with Will. I don't buy CBS Sports had him at like 12 this week. I don't think he's going that early. But I think late first round, I think somebody might take a flyer on him and say, this guy could be a generational talent if he has his head on straight.
And I think it could be better for him if he winds up on a good team. Again, I think he's better off if you take him as the speed rusher that he is. If you put him on a team where, like the Eagles, where you've got three other guys, and he can rotate you in and rotate you out. If you put him on some bad team and you say, okay, now go be Myles Garrett, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, he doesn't need to go to the Arizona Cardinals, right? Like, don't go there, right? But he needs to go to some place that has a defensive locker room with a culture of strength in it. You know, you could put him on a Pittsburgh Steelers with a T.J. Watt and that crew, and you're going to fall in line, right? Like, you're going to be in line. So there's going to be certain teams, like I said, they're going to look at maybe their locker room if they think it's a cultural problem, could be a problem. They may pass on him on some of those things. But if there also is a group of teams that look at their defensive line room and they go, hey, we got the defensive line room to overcome this, and he's going to get right with us, or he's going to get off the bus. A Lions right now would have the strength there. Like, there are going to be other teams that say, and so when he shows up at a certain pick on your board and you had him rated as maybe a 15-level talent, but he falls to the second round, you're going to start picking right there.
And I would also say, like, could he not replace Josh Sweat, who's been gone on free agency from the Eagles? Jalen Carter hasn't been a problem at all there, but you saw even when he loses his composure on the field, the other veterans come over, calm him down. Someone could do that to James Pearce on a good franchise.
Absolutely.
You've seen some mock drafts that have Omar Norman-Lott up in the first round. Again, with any of these, all it takes is one team to fall in love with you. And another reason I don't think Pearce is going to fall at, he plays one of the 5 positions that everybody's trying to find. So the fact that you've got a guy with talent, I just think somebody's going to take a chance, culture or not, way before 60. Omar Norman-Lott, though, all the way down there after Dylan Sampson, who had a great year, after Dante Thornton, who ran a fast combine time, I would be shocked if Omar Norman-Lott is behind both of those guys.
I think third round is minimum where you'd see him taken, but I think there's a chance he goes in the second round. But I don't think he's a fourth round guy. Like, I think you're going to see that go higher.
A defensive tackle with some
the
pass rush
ability.
skills.
Well, tackle seems to just go. There's always tackles that are projected late second to go in the first. Every year, the last 3-4 years, that's the way that's gone. I agree with Will. I don't think he's going to be a first-round pick because I think there are still some questions with Omar Norman-Lott as well, in the same vein as James Pearce. But I think that he will be a guy that's a rotational defensive tackle. You'd love to have one of those, especially on a rookie contract. So I think he's a second or third round guy.
You look at guys like the Rams and what they've done with these kind of versatile defensive linemen. Norman-Lott's that kind of guy, right? I could play him at an end. I could play him inside pass rush. So, I mean, his value right now to me is if you're starting to see him, teams are going to start considering him in second round.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be, when do they pull the trigger? And it's going to be somewhere between second and third, in my opinion.
And I don't think anybody here is knocking Dylan Sampson at all. I think we all like Dylan Sampson as a back, but running back, even after you had a couple made big charges last year, kind of the rebirth of the running back, I still don't see a running back going ahead of what could be, if you get him into control, an elite pass rusher in Pearce, and going before a guy like Omar Norman-Lott, who you just don't have a lot of defensive tackles who are good pass rushers.
It's a deep draft, too, for running backs this year. I mean, it's just super deep. So if you look and say a defensive tackle's there in the third round, and I could take the running back or defensive tackle, it doesn't mean you don't like Dylan Sampson. You're taking the defensive tackle because I can get another running back in the fourth or fifth.
Yeah. Will Overstreet, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah,
we appreciate it, man. We may drag you back here after the orange and white
Definitely.
game. Okay, when we come back, let's get into the basketball talk the rest of the way. We're going to talk about who Tennessee still has in the Midwest region. We'll show you exactly how they stack up against the teams they're going to face if they're going to make it to San Antonio in the Final Four. Come on back.